Hello and welcome to the very first episode of The Political Conversationalist. I'm assuming you're new to the channel unless you're me, so I'm going to go ahead and do some introductions. My name is Ben Phipps and I'm very passionate about politics. And I saw a need for some unbiased information about politics and political theory. And that's what I'm wanting to do with this channel. Now this channel is going to be pretty simple. We're going to do 3 videos a week. The first 2 on Monday and Wednesday are going to be on political concepts and theories or people who are important to politics, more informational videos. And then on Friday, if you want to come back, we're going to do a very informal video on events that happened over the past week and the political repercussions thereof, and maybe do some Q&As in the future. So if you like what you see today, don't forget to subscribe. For a very first starting place, the best place to start would be with systems of government. You hear phrases and words all the time thrown around. Democracy, republic, communist, all these different phrases, and there's really not a whole lot of people who can objectively tell you exactly what those phrases mean. So that's what I'm setting out to do. And to begin with, we're going to start with the simplest and one of the, at least in earlier human times, most prevalent systems of government, which is called an autocracy. An autocracy, or a dictatorship, or a tyranny, is any government in which one person controls everything. Oftentimes it's either a dictatorship like in a socialist state or a communist state, or a monarchy. And I'm going to give you 2 examples and show you how you can recognize an autocracy. Then we're going to go on to the pros and cons of them. Because there are surprisingly some cons. I mean some pros. There are definitely cons. The first example we're going to look at is England. And I know what you're thinking. England, yes, it's a monarchy, but it doesn't have an autocrat. Well, it doesn't anymore. It doesn't have a dictator anymore. But back in 1600s, about Shakespeare's time, that was the reign of Queen Elizabeth I. And yes, there was a parliament at the time, but she could supersede it at any time. She was a very, very powerful woman, probably the most powerful woman in the world. She may have been the most powerful woman in the world ever, actually, due to England's reach and enterprise at the time. However, this is going to be the good example of an autocracy because England at the time was one of the best places you could live in Europe, if not the entire world. It was commonplace among many European countries to persecute people for their religious beliefs. England didn't practice that. The arts flourished, literature flourished, theater flourished, and you could tell that obviously because it's the time of Shakespeare. And she was just a very good ruler. She was very morally good in herself. She established a state church and set herself up as the supreme governor of it. But she never forced anyone to attend to it or to believe what it said. So people enjoyed more freedoms under her than under any other system of government at the time that I know of. Moreover, the English country itself did a lot of good at the time. Most notably, they defeated the Spanish Armada during her reign. So a lot of good happened under her reign, and she had the right to rule, hereditarily speaking, because she was next in line, as monarchies often go, by family. She was next in line to the throne, and that's how she got her power. She kept her power mainly by popular demand. People loved her. She was a good queen, very good to live under, and at least in one case she did have to kill a potential rival in her cousin Mary, Queen of Scots. But that could be a whole different lecture about their relationship. Not all autocracies are good, though. So we're going to talk about a bad example, and this is probably the worst example of any system of government you can come up with, and this is Nazi Germany. From the 30s into the mid-40s, Germany was controlled by the National Socialist Party. And at its head was Adolf Hitler, who called himself the Führer. Now, typically before then, Germany was not an autocracy, it was not a dictatorship. But he came to power, and his Nazi party came to power through so much public demand and popularity that he was able to pass laws such as the Reichstag Fire Act, which got rid of freedom of speech, freedom of assembly, and the Enabling Act, which allowed him to become a dictator, become a tyrant, and to rule by decree. And all this was because of his popularity, coupled with the early victories they enjoyed during the war. He was a very popular man in Germany. And he controlled a very strong country until its ultimate fall in 1945 and subsequent years. So all autocracies aren't bad and all aren't good. That's a common theory, is that dictatorships are bad. Well, not always. As we saw in England, it was actually probably the best country in the world at the time. But the problem with a democracy, an autocracy rather, is exactly the good ends the same as the bad, in that one person makes all the decisions. So in the case of England, if you needed something done very quickly, if the Spanish Armada's coming and you need to respond very quickly, she had all right to say, okay, Navy, go intercept them immediately. There was no bureaucracy involved, no Congress, no Parliament, nothing. She was in control, and she could react very quickly. But as we see in Nazi Germany, the con of that is there's nothing that can stop them from acting against the will of the people or toward the detriment of a lot of people, as when Hitler started and continued the Holocaust. So, hope you learned something today. Autocracy, big word, small meaning. One person running everything. It's completely against Western ideals, but it's not as black and white as it seems. Thanks for watching.